In this video, I'm going to talk about my three obsessions, how I found them, and what they feel like to me, because this is something that to me is really obvious, but to others might feel, totally like foreign and they don't have any obsessions, or they have them, they don't know if they're actually obsessions. And so let's start with, I'm going to break these down into the artist, athlete, entrepreneur. Let's start with the art, which to me is writing. To me, writing will always be my core obsession, and it will be the thing that powers everything else I do. If you think of like the Disney map, right, of all the different parts of Disney's business, at the core of it was these animated movies, right, that were incredible. And for me, that's writing specifically about obsession now, but in general, writing. And it's hard to realize when this became an actual obsession, but I was always attracted to words and reading. One of the earliest memories I have is in school in like sixth grade, one summer. I just read like 10 books from this author named Walter Dean Myers, who wrote about like Harlem and like fictional stories about Harlem crime and like life. Super random. But for whatever reason, I just liked reading this guy. And I sat all summer in my room and read his books. And that was like one of those early memories where I really realized I liked reading. I wasn't like a huge reader though growing up in high school or college, but I did read a bit, and I was always good at reading and writing in school. When I started the Instagram, it wasn't really writing. Like literally the first post I made, I'll try to put a screenshot up. It was like these infographics, right? It was like these stupid little. There was no writing involved, really. And then even after that, they evolved. I was just posting quotes, right? But then slowly over time, I just started writing my own stuff, and like I'll post like an old quote here where it's like my writing was not very good. It was, hard to read. It didn't go well. But, over time, I had made this commitment of basically posting every day where something clicked with me when I was leaving college. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again, how I started making content. It was 2019 and I was leaving school, and it just hit me that I was going to make content forever, that I was comfortable doing it forever, and I really wanted to start. And so I started on the Instagram, posting whatever I could, and I was doing at least once a day. And like I said, it started with these stupid infographics because that's what I thought would work. And then it moved on to me posting quotes of like people like Andy Frisella, David Goggins, which was kind of unique at the time. Then I got a little following, and then I started posting some of my own writing. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try my own stuff. And what's funny is I never remember sitting down and like planning that. It just happened. It just there was no planning. I just started putting this stuff out into the world and got wildly addicted to that game. And I remember there was a memory of me being in a forest and I had an idea and I shared it like on a tweet or something. And I just thought, how incredible is it that I can just have this idea in my mind in the middle of a forest and share it online, and hundreds or thousands of people at the time read it. And I think slowly I just got addicted to that game where now, you know, I'm writing stuff all day, sharing stuff all day, and there is no effort. There is zero effort. I have to stop myself from posting too much sometimes. Um, and that to me is a true obsession, right? You literally, I would pay so much money to be able to just post online writing. Like, you could not pay me not to do it. Um, it is literally the thing I love doing most in this world is sharing my ideas and having them resonate with people and having them help people in their life. It is like the greatest gift ever that I can do that. And so, what that feels like is, and I'm gonna talk more about this in this video, but it really spawned from a commitment to creating content. This obsession with writing, I think, was always present in my life. Like I had the ingredients, but until I made the commitment to this extreme output, this extreme constraint of posting content every day and trying to build an audience, there was no room for it to grow. That's why I always say commitment breeds obsession. Commitment is how obsession can begin. And when I explain my other obsessions, you'll kind of see what I mean as well. Um, but so writing, you know, I always was addicted to this game where it's like there's so many little things to tweak with writing, and there's a style you can have, but there's also tactics where it's just this subconscious game of it's pure art, but it's also science. And writing with rhythm, there is a way to do it that is incredibly fun when you have this unique idea and you can shape it into a way that moves almost like a wave that just hits someone, and it hits them in the perfect way where their brain just wants to keep going line by line across what you're saying. And I don't know, I just fucking love writing shit and writing good shit that I'm proud of. And now I'm like, how did I have that idea? How did I have this phrasing? Um, and the fact that it's just writing is a combination of everything you've interacted with and consumed in your life is, your writing is downstream of that. And I love how simple it is. It's just words. I love that anybody in the world can go open Twitter and write something. And if you have something to say and it is in a unique way, you will get an audience and you will get read. You will have readers 100%, 1,000%. And I don't know, that is very similar to me to my second obsession. And there's more about writing, and I probably have to do videos on each of these individually because this is just a pure rant. But I'm just trying to explain how writing feels to me, which is like there's no effort in doing it ever. And when people ask me what is my content strategy, there is none. I wake up and I just document ideas as they come. And, with a tweet or like a long Instagram post, I'll get down like the shortest part of the idea. I'll spend whatever 5-10 minutes writing out a post about it, writing a full tweet, and then I send it right away. Almost everything I've posted over the last few years is I had the idea and I posted it right away, literally, which to some people is probably crazy, but that is the only way I know how to operate. That is the only way I function. Um, that's just what I like doing. And so now to move into the second obsession, which is running, which is a relatively new obsession that only really started, I would say, in the last 6 months. I was kind of searching, I think, for the athlete part of the artist, athlete, entrepreneur. I played soccer growing up, and then I was pretty obsessed with lifting after I stopped playing soccer. I in the beginning that was a complete obsession. It was all I did. I didn't want to leave the gym. I gained a ton of size. Like I was super skinny before I started lifting. Even in soccer, trained with the team, and I would be in the locker room doing curls, and I would get yelled at by the coach. He's like, "Zach, stop fucking doing curls." But I just love doing them. Um, and so, that's a good sign is like, I didn't have to do those curls. I just loved the feeling. I think weights, you either love it or you don't, right? You can't make someone like working out. They have to love the tension, the pump. The hard part with it is it takes time sometimes to find that. It's very similar to running. It takes time to get to like runner's high. And then early last year, I was kind of burned out on lifting. I feel like I had no desire to like lift weights. I was like, had the same physique for like 2 years. I was heavy. I was like, I was weighing like 230 pounds almost, 200, high 220s, like 6'4" height, which is a little pudgy. Like I had a little pouch, not, I wouldn't say fat, but like kind of fat. And I hated it. And I slowly started running more. I've told this story, like hanging out with Casey Neistat and Hunter Weiss in the office a little bit. They're huge runners. It just got me running more and more in New York City. I feel like a lot of people in New York, they just start running because of how much it is part of the culture here and how amazing it is to run around the city. And I just started to fall in love with it. And I started to fall in love with waking up every morning and running. And then over time, um, I started to get good and I started to get better and I started to get faster. And, it took me a very, very long time. I think you have to go through like 6 months of runner's low, which basically means like every run kind of sucks. It like hurts. You don't want to do it. And then eventually you get to runner's high, which is you go out and it starts to feel effortless and you start to make so much progress and you start to get faster and you're fitter and your legs just feel like fucking cannons. And then you can go out for a sprint workout or a fast workout, and the glory and ecstasy you feel going quick is so indescribably amazing to me that I am so glad I just kept going through those long runs where I would do 12 miles and I would do like fucking 10-minute pace. I would be dying. But I got through that period, and now I can go and rip 12 miles like it's nothing. I can go do it at an insane pace. It's insane the progress I made. This time last year, I was running like 5 miles at like I don't know, high sevens or like eight pace. I was like going all out, maybe. And then, a month ago, I did 20 miles at like a 6:30 pace. Shit doesn't even make sense. But, it's because it became a complete obsession for me over the last, 6 months. And similar to commitment to starting content is what led me toward falling in love with writing. Commitment to doing a marathon is what made me fall in love with running. I signed up for a marathon in the end of October, and then I had it in December of last year, December 3rd. And the moment I signed up for that marathon, I went down an extreme rabbit hole of running, watching videos, reading. I didn't really read books, but like videos, blogs, everything, trying to figure out this game of how to get faster and how to get fitter and what workouts to do and what gels to take and what shoes to use. And that is what obsession feels like, is where this new world becomes your entire world and it surrounds you and it becomes the core of your being and you can't do anything else. And literally, got no work done and literally just read about running all day. And I couldn't wait to go to sleep. I couldn't wait to wake up because I couldn't wait to go out for my run or workout and make progress and add another brick to this like mountain of running I was building. That was last November, really. And that was like the best. That was what obsession is. It was this brand new feeling every day. Like I was playing this brand new video game. And oh my God, it was such a fun time. I wish I could go back to that feeling. You really can't. You know, I don't know if I felt an obsession like that since I was like a kid playing like Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty in middle school, where dude, I would be in class. I love that game so much. If you're around my age, like I'm 27, you probably played that game too. And I would be in class and I would have note cards. I would have note cards and I would write out Call of Duty loadouts to play on in the game with at night. That's how obsessed I was. I would be like, 45 and akimbo pistols and like scavenger, all the perks. Like I would write it out, and the amount of joy I felt doing that is so hard to describe because that is the joy of true obsession and a new obsession where it's just this intoxicating world that you get to just live in. And you're in real life, but you're not anymore. You're spending all your time in this dream world where you're spending all your mental energy. And that's what running felt like to me. And honestly, it still kind of feels like that. I am still like in the honeymoon phase. I hurt my ankle. So now I get to kind of go. I've been healthy, really healthy again for like a week. So now I get to go kind of experience a little bit of that beginning honeymoon stage again, running every day. Like I can't wait to go run every day now. And that won't last forever, but it will last a while, I think. And like today, I did a speed workout on the track. I did like 24 reps of 400 meters, and some people would think that is like hell, but to me, it sucked, but it was the best suck ever. That sounded bad. It was the best suck ever. I can't say that. It was like it felt so good to fucking go out there and just fucking rip my hamstrings off my legs and just oh my god, it felt so good. And I just love running. I just love it. It doesn't require effort for me. It feels effortless to go out there and push sometimes. Um, Not push, but like it feels effortless to go and run. Just, that's like part of getting fit, but it's also, that's how easy runs should feel. And then I just love the hard runs. I love testing myself. I love pushing. Um, I'm addicted to what speed feels like. Like I said, these all need their own videos. And I've made running videos before talking about it as well. But let's move on to the third obsession, the entrepreneur piece, which is this is the most incomplete obsession, I'd say, but it is pretty clear to me what mine is, which is design, right? It's like people have always complimented my sense of design and everything I do. And this is one I didn't really realize I had until someone else complimented me on it, which is like, that's an interesting way to find your obsession. Like, go and ask your 10 closest friends or people who know your work, like, what am I really good at? And it might become obvious. People always said how everything I do looks so aesthetic and good. And it's something that I never really thought about doing. But when you look at like my fucking like Canva, which is where I make most of my stuff, it's actually psychotic how much time I spend just like literally designing and redesigning the spacing on text on every post I do. Thousands and thousands of fonts I've downloaded and tried and played around with. Um, I used to just design brand logos for imaginary brands I wanted to create all day and night because I love like the feeling of creating a logo that felt like something real. And I think I've always more and more had a good radar for what I liked. Like I always am taking pictures and screenshots and making notes, and like it is sort of like a relentless awareness that never turns off, and you're constantly looking around for things that catch your eye. It's like when you go in a bookstore, are you just casually scrolling or casual that's bad, casually walking around like flipping through books? Or no, is your brain constantly lighting up to, oh my God, I love this font, I love this title, I love this cover, I love the shape of this book, I love this. Like I am just constantly turned on to design. Design, I think, is how I will make a lot of money in terms of like the companies I start. I haven't really started these companies yet, but it truly though, like with the animation videos I made last year and even my content in general, none of it would have happened without the design. And even the writing, while the writing is the core obsession, the way I present it, um, the design is undoubtedly a reason that it's doing better. It's an accelerant for it, I think. And so that is like I realized that whatever companies I start, the piece I want to be involved in is the design, the way things look, the way things feel. Like a good, if you think your obsession is design, and you should have a one way you know that your obsession might be design is if you have just insane mood boards and insane like screenshot collections. Like I have a mood board I've had for like years. I use this app called My Mind, and it is insanely deep and long, and I've added so much to it. And when you look at it and then you look at the stuff I put out on the internet, it is so obvious like where my inspiration comes from. I'm just good at noticing stuff that I like, and I'm good at like filtering it down. Like a good example is like the font I use on these videos. Um, or I don't know if I have subtitles in this one, but the font I use is like from Disneyland because I'm obsessed with Disneyland, and I'm obsessed with specifically Walt Disney. I'm not obsessed with Disneyland as a thing. I'm obsessed with Disneyland as Walt Disney created this whole world for people to go explore. And now he built this thing from scratch and had this new idea that didn't exist. That is why I like Disneyland and Disney. Design is interesting because I think if you can make things look good, it's that simple. If you can make things look good, you basically have a cheat code. Like, because people interact with things that look good and look legit and look like real things. And having that is a superpower for everything because it enables one person to do so much more. Most of the things I put out into the world, I've designed myself. And, especially with all the AI stuff coming, like all the AI pictures I make, I design them. They're from my taste and my sense of style. And excuse me, that really fucking excites me because I'm just like, what else am I going to be able to create just alone? And so, yeah, like I said, I think the companies I start, the through line of them will be the sense of design. And this is one where, like I said, this is the obsession that kind of came last. And artist, athlete, entrepreneur. I have always said this. I think they should go in that order. And I'm excited to see what happens with design and how far I can take it. Because I think once you start designing things that are monetized, then it becomes a true commitment. And so, like I had the commitment for content, or sorry, for commitment for writing, becoming an obsession was starting making content. The commitment for running, becoming an obsession was doing this marathon. I think the commitment for design will be starting a company where you know, design is keeping me alive. Design is like, not that I need the specific company to survive, but let's say like the through line, what's keeping the company going is this sense of design. That's going to force me to make things and to get honest feedback from them, from the world. Because if I don't make good things, people won't buy them. Right. And so, I'm excited to get into that journey this year, hopefully sooner rather than later. And yeah, this was a good video. Find your obsession, find your obsessions. You can have multiple. The goal is to find them and combine them into one output, one core output. And once you find that, you can start compounding. And once you start compounding, that is when magic really happens. And that is how you reach the pinnacle. You only reach the pinnacle through extreme compounding over time. Stay fucking obsessed.